What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that just got Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated and is waiting for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie game remake because that's a gem. Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDoWorkHereLady. This story's called Brovid Stories. These next couple stories are about the same issue at the grocery store I work at. I am a cashier at a large Dutch supermarket branch, blue and white colors. It's a long one. Strap yourselves. With Brovid going on, we have implemented a couple of rules, such as mandatory shopping cart use, one per person so we can count how many people are in the store, there's a limit with Brovid, and everyone keeps distance automatically. We try to enforce this as best as we can and point it out to everyone who walks into the store without a shopping cart. You have to insert a coin into the carts to unlock them so you can use them, but we have decided to unlock them all for easier use. People didn't know that at first, so they're usually pretty pissed when trying to walk into the store and getting called by the person behind the service desk, which is right next to the entrance and facing it, to go grab a cart, and they notice they don't have any coins on them, to have it turn out that they're all unlocked. People who come to the store with their partners or only come to buy a couple of onions or something usually get pissed too because everyone needs to grab a cart. They complain about not needing a cart because they only need one item or their partner already has one. But that doesn't matter because everyone needs to have a cart before entering the store. Our carts are placed a couple of meters outside the store, underneath a little roof thingy. You can't miss it. You basically walk past it when entering the store. We enforce this as best as we can, and people get pissed regularly. This is important. Story 1. One time when I was just heading back home and walked past all the registers, I saw from afar that a tall, 40-ish-year-old black man, which is the type that usually only buys beer, grumpy and unfriendly, stands in line and pushes his cart to the side of the aisle, intending to leave it there to not have to bother with putting it back. He was standing pretty close to other customers, definitely within 1.5 meters distance. If he had the carts, that wouldn't have been the case. Hence the following conversation. I had already changed out of my work uniform by this time. We cashiers often have to clean up carts people leave behind and don't bother to put back, because right now there's no incentive to put it back, to get your coin out. This really frustrates us because we have other things to do and it's clear where to put your cart. I saw this, and still being in the customer service mindset and to help my fellow cashiers still working, I decided to say something about it. I walked up to him and said, "Sir, would you please take your cart with you in line, please? The rules aren't there for nothing. The cashiers here then also have to bother cleaning your stuff up because you're too lazy to bring that cart back, and they're already really busy." Complete silence. The dude just looks past me and ignores completely what I'm saying. He definitely knows I'm talking to him. I'm basically looking in his eyes at this point. He tries his best not to look at me. "Sir, I know you can hear me. Can you please take that cart back and take it with you like any other regular person would? Everyone else has to abide by these rules and so do you." Still getting ignored. Mind you, I'm not small either. I'm about 192 centimeters, or 6'3", for those from a superior nation, and definitely don't look scrawny. The other people in line start to pay attention to what's going on, and the line was getting longer. It was about 8 p.m., close to closing time, so there was only one register open. "Sir, I work here. I'm not saying this for no reason. Pick up your cart or I will have you removed from the store for violating store Brovid regulations." He finally looked at me because he heard I work here and met me with a barrage of commands. "Oh, so you work here. Well, why don't you open another register? I want to get served. Now." Luckily for me, the one sitting behind the register at that point joins in on the conversation while helping another customer to clear the line. Me and him are the only two male cashiers at that store, and happen to be working at the same time at that moment. Even more lucky, there was a supervisor standing at the service desk at that point. also male, and both decided to chip in. Us three didn't take crap and finally got him to take his cart and stand back in line. He kept arguing about how it was busy and I have to open another register for him, while we were telling him that we're not gonna do that and he still has to follow the rules we set in place. These details are a bit hazy, so I got a bit fed up and just wanted to head home. So I headed for the service desk, thanked the backup, and left. I heard from my coworkers that he finally shut up, paid for his beer, still left his cart, and left the store. Unfortunately, he didn't get banned. He thought he could intimidate me, but ended up getting bashed by me with the help from my coworkers. We're Dutch, so pretty straightforward. Customer is king is not really a thing here. Rules are rules. Story 2 and 3, they're very similar. I was heading home after a shift, and to do so, you have to walk through the store to get outside. I decided to grab a couple of snacks on the way out. We don't have to grab a cart because we have the employee privilege that we can skip the line and pay at the service desk, which is next to the exit. Besides, we have to come from inside, so it would be too much of a hassle to go all the way to the other side of the store, go outside, grab a cart, go inside again, grab snacks, and go stand in line, which we don't have to do, which we could have done while on our way outside anyway. Anyway, I was grabbing a couple of snacks for later that evening. I was walking around the store, keeping distance from everyone that passed. A few moments later, a woman walks past and says to me, "Hey, young man, you know that you have to use a cart while shopping, right?" I answer, "I know, ma'am. I work here, and I just got done with my shift." The woman apologizes, we had a laugh together, and we moved on. Not quite the Karen story, but it still fits. Kinda. Another time, it was during my shift, so I was wearing my company outfit. A couple of loud kids, maybe around 15 years old, walked into the store, with carts luckily. Just before them, a coworker of mine enters the store to go to work, so she obviously didn't bring a cart. These kids were ranting and yelling next to me about how they get yelled at for not getting a cart. We don't yell at people, only raise our voice to get their attention when they don't hear us. But she could get inside without getting a cart and that it's bullcrap, screw that, etc. I walked up to them and said, "Guys, she works here. Now keep it down, please." Oh, oops. These last two stories weren't as entertaining, but still thought they fit this subreddit. Edit 3, extra info about paying for carts. The fact that you have to pay to use carts is a regular thing here in Europe. At least it is in the Netherlands and Germany. You don't really pay for a cart, but you insert a coin and it unlocks the chain. When you come back from the store, it's an incentive to bring your cart back so you can get your coin out of the cart. Most people have a coin that's usually given out by the stores that unlock the carts that's like a keychain, and doesn't have any real value besides that. You don't have to pay for those, they're given out for free. I like carts that are like that, Aldi has those I think. They also have ghost pepper cheese, and that was pretty good. I'm really happy that these businesses are taking it at least somewhat seriously, because despite the lack of media coverage, the pandemic is getting worse than ever. We actually got the biggest spike in new cases just the other day. So yeah, it's still happening, guys. This story's called, "Lady Claims I'm a Safety Hazard at My Own Job." So obviously the expected, I'm on the metagram and formatting lines, blah blah, and this is my very first post. For context, I'm 18, female, and just started at a big chain auto parts store, even though I know little to nothing about vehicles and how to fix them. Family member got me in. But I'm getting by fairly well and haven't had a complaint about my advice yet, so fingers crossed. Even though I'm 18, I'm very short, 5 foot even. Shorty. And have a big baby face, so I often get mistaken for being 12, despite having pastel pink hair and a nose piercing. I'm sorry, what? Have you seen 12-year-olds nowadays? Anyway, sorry, here's the cast. Entitled Bench Coworker. I was closing with that night. Me. Story. Sorry it's a long one, tilde at the bottom. So this happened last week when I was stocking and facing shelves about half an hour before closing, as it's mandatory to have the store fully stocked and neat before leaving for the night. Our stores equip each location with very tall rolling ladders, clearly marked "Employees Only" to help safely stock heavy parts on higher shelves. It was late, so there was barely anyone in the store, so I was stocking the top shelves where we keep our car wash supplies when I noticed this lady dressed in high-end business clothes. Something you don't see here very often. She keeps staring at me. I finally ask her if there's anything I can help her find, and the following conversation ensues.
Young lady, you know those ladders are for employees only, right?
I was a bit confused because I was literally stocking shelves and had the employee uniform on with my name stitched on it, company policy. Yes, ma'am, I work here. I just started a few weeks ago. I point to the logo on my work shirt. Entitled Bench looks me up and down.
Aren't you a little young to be working here? I thought they didn't hire until 18.
I am 18. My birthday was in January and I just started here.
Broccoli salad, you get down from there right now before I get you kicked out for lying and playing on store equipment.
Startled, I tell her, no, I work here. I'm doing my job. And attempt to go by to stocking the shelves when she grabs my ankle and tries to pull me off a 6-foot ladder. Keep in mind, these ladders are as old as the store and aren't the most sturdy. So I grip the handles and pray it doesn't fall over while I yell at her to leave me alone.
No, you shouldn't be up there. You could get hurt.
Ironic, I know. At this point, my coworker hears the commotion and comes out the back to see what's going on. She walks around the corner to see me shaking my leg, trying to get out of her death grip before the ladder falls over, and trying not to cry or pee myself as I'm terribly afraid of heights.
Ma'am, what are you doing? Stop, she could fall. She shouldn't even be up there. She doesn't work here.
While she was distracted, I quickly shake my ankle out of her death grip and speed down the ladder and over to my coworker.
I demand she be banned from the store for being disruptive and a safety hazard. Ma'am, she works here. We just hired her 2 weeks ago. Then prove it. Show me her schedule and her ID now.
First of all, I'm not showing you my schedule so you can come here and harass me. Secondly, I'm not showing you my ID. I don't have anything to prove to you. Please leave before I call the police.
Oh, I'll gladly call the police.
She pulls out her phone and dials 911. At this point, I'm so shaken up and tired and just want to go home, so coworker sends me to the back to try and finish up my duties before we close. About 10 minutes later, the police show up and Entitled Bench starts screaming about how I was being a safety hazard and kicked her in the face. The police look at me and, again, assume I'm only 12 until my coworker explains to them what actually happened. The police request the security footage, which we happily showed them. Of course, it caught Entitled Bench physically harassing me, and she started yelling that she was only looking out for my safety and did nothing wrong. Obviously, the cops didn't buy it and told her that if she was truly concerned for my safety, she should have taken it up with the manager on duty instead of physically harassing an employee. They escorted her out where she continued screaming. I told them I did not want to press charges since she probably didn't live near here anyways. It's a fairly small town and an everyone knows everyone type of deal, and I'd never seen her before. It's been about a week since the incident, and I haven't seen her since, thankfully. But I think it's safe to say I may not last long in this business. Edit! I'm still working during the whole Brovid-19 because our store was declared an essential business, and I've got a few more stories like this if y'all want more. Ha! Karen logic is like rescuing a fish from drowning. And before you smarty pantses come out here and say, Zach, fish can suffocate or drown or whatever you want to call it underwater if the water doesn't have enough oxygen in it. I am aware because I am a marine biologist. That's actually a lie, but I do know. This story's called, You're Not Allowed to Work Here. So a customer said something to me last night that brought this to mind, and I thought I'd share. This happened about 3 years ago. I had just been moved to primary third shift at my store, and at the time, there were only 2 white people working there, the manager and me. Okay, I'm more of a mutt than white, but I hadn't seen the sun for 2 months, so I was kind of pasty. And this wasn't racist hiring practice. This is a relatively accurate cross-section of our area. As part of my job, when a customer enters the store, I have to call out, "Welcome to company." Also, employees wore, at the time, dress code has been loosened a little bit, company-issued polo shirts and khaki pants with a name tag front and center on the shirt, where it can be easily read. This will be important later. The way my store is set up, there is a strip of floor between the roller grill counter and the counter that the frozen drinks, soda fountain, and coffee machines are on. This is a strip of floor that always needs mopped because customers tend to think that it's a shortcut and somehow always manage to spill drinks there. I was mopping this strip of floor, which meant I was hidden from the doors. A customer came in on her cell phone, and I heard her laugh and say as she walked in, "I'm not racist." I pop up from mopping and chirp. I always try to sound happy regardless of what I feel. "Welcome to company."
Hold on,
the woman said as she pulled the phone away from her face. She was black. She pointed to me.
"What are you doing here?"
Confused, I said, "I work here? How may I help you?"
"No,"
she told me firmly.
"you're not allowed to work here."
I was even more confused. Of course I was allowed to work there. I'd been hired by the company. No, I really do work here.
"No,"
she said again.
"I was here this morning and everyone who works here is black."
"Oh," I said as enlightenment dawned. I'm not always the sharpest tool in the shed. No, I work here. The only color company cares about is money.
"Oh no, this is not acceptable. I'm going to fix this right now."
She turned and left. I have no idea what she intended to do to fix it, but I never heard anything more about it. Okay, so it's unfortunate that she feels that way, because... What? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.